Hello there, I'm Big Alias, and I'm wearing your grandpa's cardigan and sipping wine. Unironically too. It's a nice little red number and a brown number wrapped around me on this cold winter evening. Yes, but despite that, I want to open this video up by talking about how I'm not actually, I never used to be a nerd back in the day. I didn't use, or at least rather I didn't really acknowledge it. I didn't really understand that I didn't understand that this is who I was and that I was born this way. No, dude, despite the fact that I was super into Star Wars, I absolutely worship Revenge of the Sith, and I played a lot of video games. I cannot tell you how many times I beat Sonic Heroes back in the day. I was very into football, hugely into football. I used to love riding my bike, dude, just riding that shit so fast. I used to love riding my bike around and taking the stickers off. I remember peeling all of my stickers off with hot soapy water, and so that it looked cooler, and so I could ride my bike around and look like a cooler guy. All that stuff. I used to be a super just normal guy, but then everything changed around about towards the end of 2008. It's a bit of a cliche, but I really got into the IT crowd. I mean, in a huge way. I would just sit there and watch repeats of the show. I absolutely loved it. And to this day, I still love watching the IT crowd. It's still one of my favorite shows of all time. And it is friggin' hilarious. Richard Ayoade is one of my favorite human beings of all time. But I loved that environment and the atmosphere so much that I just watched it over and over and over. And it was the first thing that I really related to and attached myself to. Was like, oh, dude, maybe this is me. Maybe this is me. And I do love Revenge of the Sith and all this stuff. And yeah, the rest is history. Sort of that's how that happened. But actually, we're not just going to talk about that now. But we are going to talk about football, and we are going to talk about people who are complacent and don't want to play football, because obviously back in the day, I was very into it, and I used to do PE. Now, this was years ago, so we had boys PE and we had girls PE. I don't know how it is now. I don't know whether there's, pronouns involved or whatever, or mixed. I don't know. But back in the day, it used to be boys and girls football, and the hungover PE teacher would come over, scratching his bald head, and just say, play football. Pretty much every week. It was football time for the boys, so we would head down and play football. Obviously, it was the entire PE team. It was the entire PE group. By the way, I got out of PE in my last couple of years of school, which I was super happy with. I did engineering instead. Not that you needed to know. But yeah, so it would be everyone. And of course, we would do the whole pick your teams thing. So it would be like you, and you. And obviously, the last 2 or 3 to be chosen would be the emo kids. Now, it was in the height of emo. This was, 07, 08. This was emo-ageddon. The floppy fringes, it could be seen from a mile away. So obviously, the emos were picked at the end, and there was a reason for that, because we knew what was coming. The emos didn't want to play. The emos were always the kids with their arms folded, and they would stand there with their arms folded, looking down at the ground, and they would let the ball sail past them. They would let it just roll past them. I remember on a couple of occasions, I don't know why we did this, but we stuck one of the emo kids in goal, and the ball literally it just tapped and just sailed straight past. I'm not going to say the name of the person. I do remember who it was, but just sailed straight past the floppy fringe of emo man. And straight into the goal. And we were all annoyed. I was annoyed. I was pissed off because I cared about football back then. For some reason, I cared. However, what I want to say is, in my old age, I think this might be one of the best ways to sum up what I've learned through the years. I relate more to those emo kids than ever before. And I totally understand them. I completely understand these kids. These kids were totally ahead of the curve, and completely ahead of all of us dumb kids playing football out there. And this isn't against football. If you like it, that's great. If you enjoy sports, that's fantastic. But these people didn't, and they were told to, and that's what I love about it. I didn't back then, but I love looking back on it and thinking that these kids, these were the ones who said no. These were the ones who said, look, you want me to do this, but I don't want to do this. This isn't what I came here for. This isn't something that I want to do in the future. This doesn't contribute to me in any way. This doesn't build up skills that I'm going to use in the future. This isn't something that I need. And I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to participate in this thing that you've created as this antiquated spiritual thing, as though it's incredibly important and interwoven into the fabric of society, again, in a very antiquated, grandfathered way. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do my own thing, and this is not that thing. And to that I say, you guys were the best. These guys were absolutely tremendous. I look back and I love the Emos on the football pitch because you stood up for yourselves. You stood against the grain and said, I am not going to do what has been done for years because I don't have to. And I think if we could just do that, if we could just tap into the minds of the Emos in the football pitch and expand that and say, no, I'm not going to do what was antiquated and I'm going to break tradition. I think that is one of the most important things that you can do as a human being. You know, we have these creative, cognitive, crazy patchwork minds that work in the way that no other animal in the entire solar system or creature or bacteria in the entire solar system works, and we just do what was done before. But they didn't. They stood up for themselves, and I think they were the best for that. So I want to apologise to every emo who let the ball sail past them during football, during PE, because you were right and we were wrong. So congratulations, emo. And though I'm not going to name any names, if you are watching this, that's amazing, and I apologise. You were the best. So that's that. I guess I'm going to go. This is one of the shorter commentaries, hopefully. And I guess I will see everyone later.